Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers, and welcome to Women's View on Ahlulbayt TV. Now, today we have a very special show with a very special guest. Our guest today is, first of all, to describe, she's a mother of 5 children. She's a CEO of the Q Fatima range, and she runs the Saturday Hujjat workshop, and also she's executive committee of the Harrow Interfaith. Now, our guest today is Sister Ummal Banin, so we're very pleased to have her on the show today. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Welcome to the show.
Very much.
Today's topic is the concept of success. Now, when many people think of the concept of success, they think of the concept of success in terms of the worldly success. But Islam has a deeper and vaster meaning of the concept of success, and not just the transit in terms of wealth, position, fame, etc. So inshallah today we'll be speaking about what the true concept of success is and what we mean by the concept of success. So we have a very interesting show lined up for you all, inshallah, something which we all can benefit from. So let's begin our show today. First of all, can you explain to us what the concept of success is?
Well, let's first look at the dictionary meaning, just as you started off with. If I look at the Encyclopedia Britannica, for example, it'll tell you that success is defined as the favorable outcome of something attempted. If you look at our adhan, and one of the sentences in adhan is Hayya ala al-Falaah, hurry to success. So what is success? Invariably, to everybody, it has a different meaning. If you look at Quran, it says, وَلِكُلِّ وِجْهَةٍ هُوَ مُعَلِّيهَا فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ. For every existence, there's a goal, so seek the best. So now the idea is to do some homework. And the best place to go to is the Quran. So you go to the Quran and simply type into Google, success in the Quran. And it'll come up with a variety of ayat. This is something you got to do yourself. I don't think anybody else can do it for you. So say I did exactly what I'm telling you to do, and various things came up. But the first one that came up quite significantly was Surah Al-Asr. All of us know it, because it says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Wal Asr inna al-insana lafi khusr. I swear by time that every human being is at a loss. And you think, oh heck, so success means not to be at a loss. And when you look at that surah, you don't have to have done any sort of studying to, or it's not rocket science to know that the utilization of time in the right way is success, because that's what this surah says. And then it tells you there's only 4 aspects that lead to success. Very simple, really simple, because it says إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. And it bases success around 4 concepts: Iman, عَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, tawasaw bil haqq wa tawasaw bil sabr, and we can talk about each one in a minute. So then you think, well, what is Iman? What is Amil al-Salihat? It's pretty vague to say belief and good deeds and enjoining truth and enjoining patience. It's really quite vague to understand. So you go a little bit further and you look at the other ayat that talk about Falaah or talk about success. We can go into each one, or we can look at these 4 concepts. I'll leave that up to you.
Like you said, it's the Islamic concept of success, like Falaah, is more comprehensive. So it's more of the spiritual and well-being of the individual and success in this world and the hereafter. Correct? I don't know if you carry on to explain the different aspects.
To make it very simple, what we did, and I'm mainly a person who talks to kids, so I'm going to talk like I do to children. What we did was create what I call a vision board. And I believe in this quite a lot. Okay. So a vision board, maybe you can see one. I've got one in my hands. You can see it on the camera. So my vision board up here is a piece of paper that I pick up. And I have a heart in this vision board. I don't know whether you see movies. I'm sure you do. Yeah. So we have Iron Man, for example. Yeah. And Iron Man has this heart that keeps him alive. So you look at the heart of your Falaah. What will make my success sustainable? Mm-hmm. So in my mind, there's a circle in my vision board which says Allah. And Allah to me means, first, the book of Allah, which is the Quran. Yeah. So on my vision board, I have a circle in the middle which says Allah. Surrounding it, I have the Ahlulbayt. Because for me, those two provide me the guidance, the that which will take me through to my vision. Then I think of those things again that will sustain my vision. That's my daily, if I can say, my daily practices, my salah, my sawm, my khums, my zakah, amr bil ma'ruf, nahi anil munkar, tawalla tabara, just as I saw from the surah. Then I divide my piece of paper into 3 parts. So I've got a physical aspect, I've got an emotional aspect, and I've got a mental aspect. See, all 3 are sustained by the spiritual aspect. So success must be in all aspects. When you say qurbatan ilallah, I want to get close to Allah, you're actually saying I want to be successful, because Allah is divinity, is perfection. You want to get to your full potential. So my success then now will work around these 3 aspects, with spirituality going through the whole aspect of all 3. So let's look at the first one, which is physical. I'm looking at physical and I'm thinking, what do I want? What do I envisage? How do I picture myself? So I have 2 pictures. I have a macro picture and I have a micro picture. My macro picture of success is walking through the doors of Jannah. That's my macro picture. It's my physical body walking through that door of Jannah. But my micro picture is related to the dunya. I want to be fit. I want to be healthy. I want to look good. I want to be presentable. Now, all these things are part of my picture of success. So to be able to be healthy, I go back to the Quran, I go back to the Ahlulbayt. I look at what the Prophet recommended. What did he recommend to eat? What did he say? How should I sleep? How much should I sleep? What sort of exercise should I undertake? Now, that's something that's quite interesting, because I looked up exercise. And I thought, why didn't the Prophet say visit the gym? Why didn't he say do yoga? Because I'm sure he would have if it had been good. But then I find he did. Because he said, the wonderful hadith of Imam Hassan al-Asqari alayhi salam, when he said, the sign of a mu'min is that they recite 51 rak'ah of salah every day. Now, besides the spiritual aspect, it gives you a good concept of flexibility. We're able to pay 51 together. So can you see where it's going, where the success is going? So this whole aspect of success has to be visualized. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this wonderful visualization aspect. And you can actually see it. You can actually see, this is what I want to do. In the world, so much. In the akhirah, so much. Then you come to your mental aspect. And I'll tell you what I've written on my vision board. So I've got, make time to read more books. Learn Arabic. Read, memorize, understand, apply, and teach the Quran. Learn about the awesome world Allah has made. Understand life. Man arafa nafsahu faqad arafa rabbahu. One who has understood his Rabb has understood himself. So that's my mental aspect. And then obviously you have your heart. Valentine's just gone past. So on my vision board, I got my wonderful hearts in concentric hearts. So I start off with loving Allah and the Prophets and the Ahlul Bayt, and then my parents, and then extended family, a soulmate, community, humanity. But these are all according to what the Quran has asked me to do. So in essence, it's having a vision, making sure that vision is translated into a piece of paper, so that when somebody says, in your own mind, forget about somebody else, in your own mind, when you're raising your hands in the high and it says, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً. What are you visualizing? What is your vision of success? If you don't have anything written down, it's like Plato said, how do you know what you want? If you don't know what you want, because even when it hits you in the face, you won't know this is what I want. Because you haven't written down what success is.
So do you feel like the not Western, but the worldly concept of success is pretty much intertwined with what the religious concept of success is, but the religious aspect gives you both?
Oh, very much so. It's got to be intertwined. There's no such thing as forget about the world, don't look at it at all. We're only going to concentrate on sitting on a musalla, we're going to pray and we're going to fast. You can't do that. The world was created as a place to attain success. And this dua would not be there. Give me success in the world and in the hereafter. آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة. It would have been only وفي الآخرة حسنة. It wouldn't have been dunya at all. And you got to be happy here, because in my mind, the akhirah is a manifestation of your dunya. It cannot be something separate. There cannot be a justice in in divinity if the dunya was not a reflection of the akhirah. And it's all a state of the inside. Nobody said you cannot be happy in the world and it's a crime to be successful in the world. It's just, you got to make sure that absolutely equal par. You know, you've got your physical, your mental, your emotional and your spiritual absolutely on one balance sheet. You know, it's there.
A very interesting analysis. But in terms of now understanding the concept of success, many people may ask, why is it important to actually come to the understanding of what the true concept of success is? What benefits are there to understanding the concept of success?
I think if you don't understand success and you don't have a vision of success, then you're actually living a day-to-day life, eating, drinking, sleeping, procreating and dying. And you're not actually going towards something. You're not attaining a goal. You're not doing things out of understanding. There is no goal in your life. There's no vision. There's no drive to do something better. And we tend to then fall into this state of just existing. And that's not what life was about. Life was about striving. It's always about striving. Every single aspect of the Quran tells you to push yourself towards divinity. You know, every aspect of our religion tells you that anything we do, salah, sawm, hajj, zakah, it says the first thing that's important is your niyyah. Qurbatan ilallah, closeness to Allah. And that very sentence says closeness to divinity. Then that means perfection. And therefore that means closeness to your full potential. It means you get somewhere and you think, no, I can do even better. And I can do even better. And it could be in the smallest of things. My mother used to tell me, so you can make tea properly. Well, you can make it even better. And I used to wonder, how do you make tea even better? But you could. You could serve it in a better way. You could, read a dua over it. Oh, there was so much you could do.
Yeah. That's amazing, because some people lose focus of what this concept of success is, and that's when they begin to lack in certain aspects of their lives. So, interesting. So now you've explained to us what the concept of success is, and we have come to the understanding of what the true concept of success is. The question is now, how do we achieve it? If we do want to achieve success both in this life and the hereafter, how do we go about actually achieving this concept of success?
I think it's a step-by-step process. So first of all, it's to evaluate and see, where am I now? Okay, very simple thing. What do I do now? So I will take my own example. So I'm a mother of 5 children, to which 4 have grown up, and I have a little one. I have time on my hands. And then I see my time management, because I go back to the Quran all the time. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. So I look at my time management, and I set out my day. So you start off with, you're waking up just before Fajr to pray your Salat al-Layl, then you've got your Fajr, then what do? You got some time in between there, what are you doing? So to make a whole time management sheet and see, because everything starts with small steps. So I look at my day and I see, where is there in this day where I've got this time where I can do something that will contribute to my success. That's number 1. Excuse me. Number 2 is to have my vision right in front of me. This is what I want to do. Now, let me look at a small example here. I said make time to read more. So then make sure you've got the right books in front of you that you can pick up and you can read. Because this is the month of Rabiul Akhir, I've been looking at the life of Imam Hassan Askari, and I am absolutely enthralled. A life of 28 years. And I look at it and I think, it was just awesome. My take back from that life was that he was imprisoned for a great part of his life under house arrest. Yet he made the most of those circumstances and did so much within those circumstances. And it taught me so much. And I was thinking, you know what? This is my Imam. I'm 53. I've been listening to Majalis for the last 54 years of my life, because from my mother's womb. And yet I never understood the awesomeness of this Imam. So make time to read. Make sure your books are around you. Just write it down on your vision board. I mean, learn Arabic. There is so much. Today, you can pick up your computer, go learn Arabic at home. It's so easy. It's unbelievable. Read, memorize, understand, apply, teach Quran. Pick up a book. Read, listen to a lecture. So these are the things that I would do to be able to achieve those step-by-step bits of success. I want to be a better parent. So if I want to be a better parent, learn how to parent your child. Go to courses, look it up. If you can't go out, there is so much available on the internet today. Just book in a course and do that. These are the steps to success. And in my mind, it is to be able to, at the end of the day, when you're going to sleep, to say, do you know what? Thank you for today. I did my best. That is success. So when the angel of death comes as well and says, hey, time up, then I would like to say, thank you so much for this life. And I did my best. To me, that is success. Success is not comparing myself to somebody else. It's not doing anything else like that. It's just that tiny bit inside me that says, I have given it my all, my 125%. Yeah.
Interesting. But what would you say that sometimes people lose sight of what their aims and goals to achieving success is? Many people do lose that. So when people lack in motivation or lack sight of what their steps are to achieving success, like you mentioned, how do you think someone can pick themselves back up if they think they're lacking in productivity, they're not being productive no more, they're just lacking in motivation? How would you, what would be your advice to those to pick themselves back up and have sight on what the steps to success is?
I think what helps is surrounding yourself with people who will motivate you. And one of the greatest ni'mas we have as communities is we have a community. And you're feeling a bit down, go to the mosque, go to the center, go and sit on the farsh of Hussein, you know, and listen to something. Talk to a friend, talk to someone whom you know will lift you up. I don't think we can pull ourselves out on our own. We need people. That is why we have so many ahadith would say that Salatul Jama'ah is so much better than praying on your own. Basically because when you go with people, you will always find somebody who will lift you out of your, if I can say, in your pit and bring you out again. Listen to talks. Look at Ahlulbayt TV. I mean, whatever. Just watch something that will bring you out rather than sit in a corner and say, woe be to me. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to care except yourself. So I think it's being able to drag yourself out to a community process.
Definitely. In terms of now looking at the examples of the Ahlulbayt, when we look at the lives of the Ahlulbayt, we see many examples and many personalities within the Ahlulbayt themselves. What could we learn from the lives of the Ahlulbayt in terms of achieving success? As we know, they're personalities that achieve the highest level of success, both in this world and the hereafter. So what lessons can we actually learn from them in terms of achieving success ourselves?
I think the greatest lesson we can learn from their lives is that despite the circumstances they were in, despite the harassment, despite the oppression that they faced, they came out trumps. And it all works down to one word, and I love this word, the word called sabr. Again, I go back to Surah Al-Asr, because Surah Al-Asr starts with Asr and ends with sabr. It starts with time, and it ends with this word called sabr. That's a very elusive word, because the word says, in English, it's translated as patience. And most people think patience means just waiting and hoping it'll come. Completely, it just defeats the point of sabr. Sabr is trying your best, I mean, trying your ultimate, which you saw all of them did. And then at the end of the day, giving it up to him. وَوْفَوِّضُ أَمْرِي إِلَى اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بَصِيرٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. And I see this, and the example I have that comes straight through is Sayyidah Zainab. What stands out in her life is, I see her go through everything. It's like it's a motion picture going in your mind. And you see her, and then you see her in the court of Yazid, and he tells her, how did you find this? كيف وجدت هذا? He tells her. And she says, Jamila. And I go, pardon? And I really have to take a step back and say, she said that the whole event was beautiful. It was beautiful because she did her best. That was her ultimate. And she handed it over to him. And then I see the result. And you see the result, all we have today, whether you're talking about the various Husayniyas you have in the world, or you have Ahlulbayt TV, or Q Fatima, or whatever. We all owe it to this woman who said beautiful, because the outcome was so beautiful. And those are the lessons we learn. The tragedy of our community, and I talk about myself first, is that we fail to study the lives of the Ahlul Bayt. We don't know them as we really should know them. We don't feel them. We don't, we don't live them. We're just, in Swahili we say juju. We're just looking at the top, little bits here, there. 90% of people, you ask them, who was the 11th Imam? Who was his mom? And they say, don't know. How long did he live? Don't know. When did Imamat start? When was Imam Mahdi, Ajalullah Faraja, born? Don't know. How old was he? So there is no concept of even wanting to learn. Yet we call these our guides, our Shafis, they're the ones we're going to rely on. They are our Aimma, leaders. We're going to follow them. So how are we going to gain Falaah if the examples are in front of us? We don't even know. I'm not even going to go there. Let's go to the Prophet. How much do we know about him? Do we eat like he did? Do we sleep like he did? What do we do like him? Do we follow in his footsteps? I don't know. I don't know whether we do that. I'll give you a small example. I remember when my first child was born, and I had lost some children before that, so very protective. And the doctors told me, you have to put her on her tummy, because that was, at that time, it was about 30 years ago, you have to put her on her tummy because that way it's better for her. And my mother told me, but the Prophet said that shaitan sleeps on his tummy. Put her on the side. And I'd say, no, but the doctor said put her on her tummy. And every time I put my child down, my mother would go in the crib and put my child on the left side. And she's an awesome personality, and there's no way I could refute her. A few years later, when my second child was born, they said, no, don't put children on their tummy. Put them on the left side. And he thought, Sadaqat Rasul. But these are the sort of things that we need to understand, that what he taught will never go out of date. And what he taught will always, and that is success, to be able to understand that.